are back here with another episode on Elevated Barbers Podcast. My name is Bradford Kelly. I am the business-minded barber, and I'm here with...
This is Delmar the Prvnce, co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. Let's start the show.
The information that you're giving them is going to elevate them financially, mentally, emotionally, and going to rise, and they're going to elevate.
We are here trying to elevate barbers as they're elevating the industry.
The one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. Let's start the show.
When we get this episode started, I want you all to know a little bit about what this guy is going to bring to the stage today. He has been a barbershop owner for how many years, Delmar? How many years would you say he's been a barbershop owner for?
It'll be 10 years in November.
Oh, he's a decade strong. So he has a decade's worth of wisdom. And also, he has a little bit of misconception about what GOATness is because he thinks that Kobe is greater than Jordan. Now, we're going to dive deeper into his mindset to understand why he has a misbelief. But let's bring to the stage Travis Harris. How you doing, sir?
Going on, man. Good to be on the show with y'all, man.
Now, let's unpack this controversy real quick. Now, you honestly believe in your heart that Kobe Bryant is the GOAT over Michael Jordan. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is a serious question. I hope you don't take any offense to this at all. Were you dropped as a baby?
I might have been.
It's a possibility.
Now, give 3 facts that you believe causes Kobe to be better than Jordan.
So I don't think Kobe greater than Jordan.
He's your personal GOAT.
Well, no, I think greater and better is 2 different things.
I agree with that.
You know, I think Mr. Holmes, like I would never say I'm greater than Mr. Holmes for what he did, like anybody did. Like, you know, I look at like Jordan, like as far as his stats and what he did, like I don't think Kobe is greater than that because Jordan was the first one. But Kobe came behind him and learned the skill sets and took what he left and brought it to another level. So I think he's better than Michael Jordan, but I don't think he's greater than Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but I don't think Michael Jordan's the best of all time.
That was unique.
Just like Spicy, they got new ketchups and new brands. The original ketchup might be greater, but the second one that they made is better to me. Like
I agree with that, Brad. Like there's a difference between better and greater. Like I agree to the sense that Michael Jordan is greater than Kobe. He's the first one to do it. He dominated his era. He was so far ahead of his time. But Kobe came in and elevated it, to me, in my opinion, he played in a more difficult era, being that it was more guard heavy versus Jordan played in a more big man heavy league era. And I just feel like Kobe is better skill wise than Jordan, but Jordan is definitely greater.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely. I've never heard somebody argue that best is and greater is different.
It's not the same because I mean we could take Tim Duncan and KG. I feel like Tim Duncan is greater, but who I'm taking, I think KG is better.
Yep.
Tim Duncan just happened to be in a greater organization, greater situation. So all that comes into play too when you talk about terms of better and greater.
So for the both of you, you feel that Kobe is better than Jordan. So Kobe's prime versus Jordan's prime, you're taking Kobe over Jordan?
Yeah, because Kobe had to go against people that was just as good as him and still dominated them. And Jordan, to me, nobody in the Niners was just as good as Jordan. Like, not even close. Like, no shooting guard every 30 points in the Niners. Like, he's the only one that did it, so he didn't have to go against people that could do the same thing he had to do. Kobe had to go get somebody that could put 40 on him, and he had to score 35, 40. Jordan didn't go get somebody, he scored 40, but the other person got like 20 points.
I'll say this. Jordan had to guard Jeff Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek versus Kobe having to play against Tracy McGrady, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, different ones like that. We can go down the list.
We can definitely go down the list, but I think that I would still put Jordan better than Kobe. I think he was better than Iverson. Like, you could argue that about all of them. So y'all saying Tracy McGrady is better than Jordan too.
No, not
You know,
necessarily.
I mean,
but it could be though. We don't know.
I'm just saying, okay,
from the
George Washington Carver. For anybody who knows, George Washington Carver made peanut butter,
okay,
right?
right.
But just because he made the first peanut butter doesn't mean it's the greatest peanut butter. Is there not other peanut butters that could be better? Jiffy, Skippy, whatever. I'm just
That
saying.
was a terrible argument. But the reason why I think a lot of people, including myself, think that Jordan is the GOAT, or you guys are agreeing that he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
You guys are saying that Jordan is the
greatness off of greatness.
I don't know. I'm saying LeBron the GOAT now. But
okay.
That's a story for a different day.
Talk about barbering. Let's talk about barbering. We are drinking the wrong type of juice. All right. So let's get into some actual good stuff. I thought that was a very interesting question. And one of the things that it actually does spark into my mind when we talk about great versus better is thinking about the barbers and how we are in competition with each other from a conceptual standpoint, when really we should be trying to be the best version of ourselves. Right. So Delmar and Traven, what are you guys' thoughts on how barbers actually develop? Now, you guys, for those that don't know, they used to own a barbershop together. They own MVP barbershops, and maybe you can give a little bit of history on that, Traven, just about how that started, but then the development process of being a barber.
I would say with developing, I'm gonna go way back to like when I was in barber school. So I started one of my instructors got fired at school. And we didn't have no instructor, so the teacher wanted me, since I was advancing cutting, the teacher wanted me to kind of like help the other students. And that's the first time like people got around me and watched me cut. And actually, you know, I actually had the information I was putting out to them, I had to actually see if it was working, like actually do trial and error, like teach certain things and actually see if they receiving information. And then when I seen certain barbers receiving it and getting better, I said, man, I could kind of teach a little bit.
Yeah,
I do this a little bit. So that's where it started from. But then when me and Delmar started cutting hair, we started, you know, developing barbers together and doing certain things together. And that's how it started, man.
That's tight. Now, Delmar, you just went and taught a class yourself not too long ago, showing some young barber entrepreneurs, no, they was Cosmos, right?
Yeah, it was cosmetology.
Yeah. So did you kind of get some of the same feelings that Traven had when you were teaching that class?
Yeah. And actually Trey was my cameraman that day. So shout out to Trey.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, man, like at first I was nervous because I had no experience teaching outside of, you know, just showing barbers in MVP like what to do when it comes to certain situations. But it came natural because I had been doing it for so long. So it was like once I got into my rhythm, I was like, man, this just teaching thing comes pretty natural for me. Just showing them different techniques, what to do with certain hair textures, what to do with certain situations, and they received it very well. I even got wind that the owner told me that 3 of the girls from that night, they went home and cut their boyfriend's hair, which is something that they never do. So that made me feel good because it's like, okay, I had an impact that day on what I was teaching.
Yeah, that's tight, man. When I first started like barbering and cutting and different things of that nature, I remember being in school and the instructor was just an older student. Like we didn't have no real instructors, so I kind of can relate to watching some other barber doing what they were doing, and they was kind of telling me what I should be doing. That was kind of cool. It was a little bit difficult for me to transition into doing it on somebody else's head myself when I was new. Man, that was tough because I was trying to remember what they said, and then I was trying to do it, and it was just not connecting for a while.
Yeah.
I think my toughest haircut was a fade. Like when I first got in.
Yeah.
It was so difficult.
It was a fade when you first got in school?
Yeah. Because the way that my school taught, they taught hairline, bald fade, shadow fade, taper, afro taper.
See, when I develop barbers, the first thing I make them learn is being comfortable. And it's like I don't want the first thing I make them do is an all even, and I pay attention to how they hold the clippers and like how they hold, how they comfortable, how they feel, like what they're doing when they're lying. And I want them to do an all even. I don't want them to do no fade. We just working on being comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, it's gonna be hard to grow to the next steps, because you're gonna be nervous. You're not gonna know how to hold the clippers. You're not gonna know how to hold the comb with the clippers in hand at the same time.
Yeah.
So like when I teach, it's I gotta dumb myself down, because it's from the very beginning. It's being comfortable, like before I teach anything else.
Trey, I'm laughing because remember Ernest? Shout out to Ernest. So,
Y'all know what you about to say.
Ernest was one of the first barbers that we bought on, and we really took him up under our wing. And his very first cut in the shop. So the mat was facing one way, and he had his client position towards the mirror, but he wasn't standing on the mat. Like Ernest was still cutting hair, like he was still cutting in the kitchen or something.
Yeah. He was walking all the way around the chair.
Yeah. So he was, instead of him spinning the chair, he was moving around the chair.
You gotta tell him how he was holding the clippers though.
Oh man, he was holding the clippers like this. My phone, this the clippers. He was holding the clippers like this, fading like that.
Like you was gripping them too tight.
Hey, he had his clippers in a chokehold.
Yeah, when I like another thing I do when I teach certain people, I don't teach it in all one subject. Like I teach you how to fade the bottom part in a different subject, and teach you how to fade the top part in a different subject, instead of putting all that in your mind at the same time. Because it's hard to understand when it's so much information coming at you. So I try to give information at a time, and then when I receive that and learn that, then I go to the next step. Then I go to the next step and teach them something else. But teaching somebody how to walk a cut down from the top to the bottom, that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
If you never cut hair before.
Yeah. I would agree. So from your perspective, are you a top down fader or are you a bottom up fader?
I fade down on straight hair, but I fade up on hair that's kind of like, tangly, rough. But straight hair, I fade down. And sometimes I fade up and then I come down. So I might start fading up, and then when we get to the guards part, I might put a bigger guard on and walk it down to meet to the in the middle. But me and them will always try different steps though, just to make barbering interesting. So like we might have 4 or 5 steps, but we might have one step we favor though.
Yeah. What about you?
I always tell people, a lot of people can cut hair, but if you understand how to cut hair, you could do it in a different way. Like you can you can start from different ways. But if you just learn how to cut one way, that's just remembering a step, like remembering certain things. But if you could dive in a cut and start from anything, you really understand like how to fade.
Yeah.
Yeah, with me, I pretty much do the same thing what Traven's saying. I might start off fading up, and then I might come down with a bigger guard, walking it down, debulking, so that the two meet in the middle. But yeah, I have a lot of different techniques that I've experienced with and that I still use to this day. The one thing that I wish I would have done though from the beginning is just find a certain style and stick with it, because that makes you cut a lot faster because you're used to one style. So you're not guessing. So sometimes I trip myself up because I might start off one way and then I start doing something else. And then it's like, man, like I ain't lose my step, but I should have just stuck with what I was doing the first time, and I would have got this done a lot quicker. So that's one thing I will say to new barbers, like find a style or two, maybe have a backup style that you won't play with. But like I got too many. Styles.
You got too much in your bag?
Yeah, I got too much in my bag, man. I'm like Kyrie. So yeah, it gets confusing, man. It takes up some time.
Yeah. And another thing too, I would show them, like if you never cut before, I would show you to learn my style, and then I would tell you branch off to doing your own thing later. Cause and then I would record me cutting in my style, like record my steps, so you could go home and watch it and study. But I won't tell you to do your own stuff until you understand like what I'm doing, and you can actually do haircuts and actually fade, and then you can move on to doing your own style. And pretty much every barber did that. Every barber that worked with me, they might have started off doing what I do, but they might start cutting and say, "Oh, I could do it like this, or I could do it like that. Oh, I've seen this person do this," so they start getting their own ideas.
Yeah.
They branch off to their own style, and basically I might start learning some stuff from them because they might start doing something I never seen before.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah.
Now, who are some of you guys' inspirations when you guys were coming into the industry for you to be able to like learn your style that you got?
I would say Richard Payne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Richard Payne.
Who's
Like
that? Smash?
Yeah,
Captain Smash, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know your name like that, bro. If you watching this episode, I didn't know your name was Richard Payne.
He was a big influence on Louisiana barbering. Like,
Yeah, he was.
my first time ever using wall clippers, like wall liners. Everybody used to use T-liners. He was the first one ever seen using like wall like liners, and that kind of made me go to that style too. And his like just the way he cut is just like I kind of like was inspired by that. But like I said, I learned from him, and I started mixing my own style in it too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would say the same. Captain Smash, and then Vic the Barber.
Yeah,
were the first
Victor
two
Barber
people.
too. I used to watch Victor Barber. Yeah.
Victor Barber from the Bay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's my classmate, old classmate, Timeless Vic.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he be pop locking nowadays.
Now, see, Victor Barber was like a person I used to watch to try to take California style to Louisiana because we wasn't really doing the high blowout tapers like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see him doing that style, and he used to lead a line, he used to do the curve and leave the line kind of thick. And it's like I was trying to take Louisiana style and mix it with his style. And he was the first person I ever seen doing stuff that he was doing too, though.
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice.
He said it was nice. What about you? Who was some people that inspired you?
Man, what's crazy is there was this guy that was because I only got inspired by people that was at my school because I grew up before YouTube. I was in YouTube land. But I got inspired by some people that was at my school, and then a little bit of people that was at my first barbershop, but not really. And the ones that I paid attention to at school was this guy his name was Biscuit because he could line. I don't know why that was his name. His name was Biscuit, bro. He was a short Filipino kid, and he knew how to use the you remember them brown T-edgers or the small ones?
Yeah, the Osters.
Them hitting. No, they wasn't Osters. They wasn't.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they wasn't Osters. I think they was
Andes.
Yeah, some baby Andes clippers or whatever. He had them hitting, and I tried to get them. It did not work for me. And then, but I liked the way that he would blend and line up and stuff like that. But then there was this kid that came into. He wasn't no kid, but he was younger than me a little bit, and he came into barber college. His name was James. So this is a shout out to you, James. His name is right now his name is Overgrown on Instagram, and he came into the school and put all of us to shame, like everybody in shame. He took all the high school students because his lines were perfect, like just straight bow.
Steve Harvey.
Man, and he wasn't leaving like red marks or nothing. He just had his liners hidden, and he just had really, really good precision. I remember I was looking at him. I was taking his steps. I was like, okay, he does his vertical bars first. And I was just like, okay. Then he actually would create the corners first, and then he would go to the middle. And I used to always start in the middle and then try and go to the corners. But he would establish where the height was first, and then he would bring it to the middle and make it, and it would be super crisp. I was like, man. So now I learned a different way how to do the vertical bars based on the bridge of a person's nose. But other than that, I still do that corner piece first, and I'll draw it like I get it like to a good angle that I want, make sure it's straight. And then I'll bring it to the middle though, because I can't do how he did it. He would do the outline on the corners and make it match, and then just bring the line across. I can never do that. It would always be higher on one side than the other side. So I just stretch it out. I just start on one corner and drag it across.
Yeah, me and Delmar kind of switch it up a little bit. I used to start in the middle of the line, like on the top part.
Yeah.
But like once I started getting older and like my eyes probably wasn't good enough, that young energy kind of gone. I said, man, I gotta do symmetrics.
You lost your 30 for 30 vision.
Yeah. So I started. So the way you saying is kind of like symmetrics, like you kind of boxing it up. You kind of seeing where you want to go with it first.
Yeah.
I started doing like that, and it's easy to do it like that too. And you can see your fade. You know, once you put that sideline, you can see your flaws in your fade, and
Yeah.
touch it up too.
This is one trick that I do now. I mean, it ain't no trick. It's just how I do stuff now. Is I actually will cut the length of the hair down to wherever it's going to be, whatever the highest height is going to be. I'll do that. And then I'll soften up the hairline area, just soften it up a little bit. And then I'll fully do the line. Like I'll fully do it without cutting and without blending. Like I would fully do the line. Razor line, all of that, except for like the enhancements or whatever, if somebody wanted that. But I'll do all of that, and that actually helps me to fade faster because I see where I'm going versus trying to fade line. Yeah. So I was for me, that's one of the things that I do if I'm really trying to go fast, because I don't like cutting fast just in general. But if I needed to speed up, like I do that, like just go for it.
Yeah, I've seen people do it that way. I forget his name, man. I think he's out in California too. He had the 1 minute blade sharpener. I can't think of his name, but anyway, he on his videos that I used to watch. You know who I'm talking about?
I think I know you. Yeah, it might be Chuko.
Yeah. Yep. Chuka the barber.
Yep.
Chuka the barber. So he on his videos, he would cut the hair down just like you saying, and then he would do the edge up, and then he would start his fades, and he'd be done quick. But a guy that me and Trayvon used to work with, he cut like that too. He would cut the hair down and he would line them up and then just go through his fades. So it's multiple different ways to cut hair, man. It's that's what I appreciate about this industry is that you can use your creativity. There's no one way.
Yeah.
You may learn the base way in school or from your instructor or taking a one-on-one course with somebody and they teach you their way. But no way is necessarily the right or wrong way. Just as long as you get the job done and it looks how the client wanted to look, then that's the right way.
Yep. I know sometimes I use that step on kids because I know they don't like sitting still for a long time.
Yeah.
So like I know like they get aggravated quick, so I get the line out of the way and then I just try to fade them up, and then that helped me with the kids.
Yeah. Now let me pick your brains a little bit, both of y'all, because I want to see what you all think about maybe like the stages of growth for a barber. So the first thing that you said, Trayvon, was that you like to make sure that a barber gets comfortable. Now this is in regards to cutting hair, right? Like being good at the craft. So I want to ask you, what would you say are the stages of growth for just cutting hair, not being a full grown barber, but just cutting hair? What would be your steps? You say get comfortable, and then what's the next such and such?
See, it's like when I develop barbers, everybody different. Like some people personalities, I'd be like, he got it because he got that natural talent. Some people I'd be like, oh, I could tell I need to help him a little more. So everybody different that I had to teach. Some people they're natural, like they get it quick. So I would say, like I said, being comfortable, and I would say like even with your mindset, not being scared, not being timid, not being fearful. Like that's why sometimes I go to I tell them I got nervous sometimes. Then let them know that somebody good could get nervous too, and that will make them feel better. Like I just by me opening up, that will make them feel better because they think a barber like me can't mess up. I can't think like that. So I kind of work on their motivation, their being comfortable, and like then I start teaching how to cut hair from the basics. And then that kind of helped to me grow quick.
Okay. Delmar, what's your thoughts on that? So if you have not done this already, we're going to need you to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so that you can get the latest gems from everything going on here at Elevated Barbers Podcast.
I kind of agree. The first thing, like Trayvon said, is making sure that they're comfortable. And really, I would say I would throw in there to not compare yourself to a more experienced barber because the experienced barber has been where you are. You know,
Mhm.
they've messed up, probably still mess up, just not as often. But you know, you
Not
come
as
into the
public. Not
huh?
as not as public. Like we
Yeah, it's
know we
not as
messed
public.
up.
Yeah,
Everybody
like
else will.
we can mess up, but we know how to fix our mess ups because we've
Yep.
been doing it for so long. But
Yeah.
somebody coming into the industry and having no experience or little experience can look at somebody who's been in the industry for 10 years and compare themselves like, oh, he doing it like this, he doing it like that. And like, man, I can't mess up, but that's not true. Like your first few heads for your first couple of years, you gonna mess up.
Mm-hmm.
You may get a rhythm, start knocking them out the park, and then you gonna have one that's difficult, and you never dealt with this type of hair texture before. It's a number of different ways or reasons why you could mess up, but don't get discouraged by that. Just learn from it, because you got to gain the experience, and that's the next step to grow for a barber. I would say is experience that getting that experience and knowing different hair textures,
Mhm.
learning that okay, the drier the hair and the scalp, the skin, the better the line gonna be. And when I say dry, I don't mean pouring a whole bunch of alcohol on your head. Make sure the scalp is clean. Now you can use alcohol on the cotton pad to rub on the line right before you do it, but the main thing is for the best results of a haircut, the skin and the scalp has to be clean. If not, if it's caked up with grease and oils and leave-in conditioner and stuff like that, it's gonna clog your clippers. Oh, one thing. So this come back to my memory because me and Traven used to do this all the time. We actually sat there and took the time to learn our tools.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
don't see too many barbers doing that these days, and no knock to them. But if me
Yes,
and
knock to
Traven,
them.
you
Yes, knock
said
to
that's a knock to them. Okay, that well knock to y'all then for not learning
it's a
your
knock.
y'all
It's a
tools.
knock to me too, though, because I don't know my tools. I use them, but I do not know them. I
Right.
wish I would have been encouraged when I was in the industry to
Mhm.
learn the tools.
Yeah.
I wasn't taught that.
You have to because okay, we're in an era now where Clippers come out like Jays. They come out every week. When me and Trayvon was coming up, and you too, Brad, like we didn't have that many Clipper options. It was either you had the Wall Seniors, the Anders Masters, or the Ulster 76s, the fast feeds. So we had to sit there and learn the tools. So if I had downtime, if Trey had downtime, I would watch him. If I had downtime and he had downtime, and I see him messing with his liners, because I could never get my lines like Trey when I first started off. So I was like, bro, what are you using? Because Trey got a light hand and his lines be super sharp, but he don't cut you. So I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Because I'm over here overlapping. My people getting scarred up like Freddy Cougar. So what is it that you doing? And that was me putting my pride to the side. Like, okay, Trey like my little brother, yo. So
Yeah,
I've been knowing Trey since he was probably 10 or 11. So we go way back. So I actually was trying to get Trey to cut hair. Trey wanted to go in the plant. And then long story short, Trey ended up cutting hair. He said, forget the plant. So, him being younger and then coming in and he had Gonzalez on fire. So
yeah.
I come to Gonzalez and I'm going in his chair and I'm learning from him because I wasn't as busy as he was. So I'm like, man, look, ain't no sense in me being prideful and be like, well, I'm older than him. I've been cutting longer than him. I don't need to go to him. I'm the big dog. No, we go put that pride to the side. Hey, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing to get your lines that sharp? So I would sit there and watch him mess with his liners. We would break down a pair of Andy's masters and see what's in it, and then put them back together. Not strip them all the way down because we ain't no mechanics, but we would take the clippers, the blades apart, and then mess with the motor on the inside just to get more power out of it. And just really learning the ins and outs of our clippers, and that made us perform better too. Because if something went down, we didn't have a mechanic shop to go take it to. We would sit there and work on our clippers ourselves. We would sit there and adjust our blades ourselves.
Mm.
So learn your clippers, learn your tools.
Yeah.
Stop spending all that money every week buying the latest clipper. It ain't gonna make you no better if your skills not getting better and if you're not learning the equipment that you have already.
Another thing I would say too, I tell the young barbers to do is pay attention to the styles that
Mm-hmm.
come out the shop. Because how you gonna do a style if you don't know what it look like?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm.
like, you got to pay attention to how people want their haircut, so you got a vision in your head to actually do it. Like even when I used to go cut people like Jarvis Landry or Ben Simmons, I'll be down on Instagram strolling to see how they get their
Mm-hmm.
haircut. I'm doing my homework, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go unprepared.
Yeah.
Because I was unprepared once before, and I said, this never going to happen again. So
What happened?
So, the first time I cut Jarvis, I didn't have the sponge, and he wanted the sponge. But he was the first person that ever asked me for a sponge. I didn't even know what a sponge was.
Yeah, we didn't know what it was.
Yeah. And I said, man, you know what? Next time I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna be ready. You know, I'm gonna study his haircut. I'm gonna study before I go see how they get it. And then when I get there, I'm telling them what they get.
Yeah.
You know, you get your haircut like this, such and such, and I'm telling the designs he get is because I already look at the page and see how he get it already. So I'm already ready. And then I don't ask for no autograph. I don't ask for none of that time. Finish the cut. I'm strictly business. I'm strictly not being a fan. But once I finish the cut, I'll take my picture. Then I'll be a fan. So, you know, and they respect that too, though. When you be about the business first, and then be a fan later or whatever.
Yeah. Now, how did that actually happen? Because I know both of you guys cut different celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
How did that actually end up happening to you all? That because I know y'all didn't. I don't know. How did it happen? Because I was about to say what y'all didn't do, but I don't know what y'all did do.
I'm pointing the wrong way. There we go. That's him. I only cut two. That's him.
I know with Jarvis, I had a client that's really close to him, like brothers, and that's how I got connected with cutting him.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Simmons, I was following him in high school, and then I know he was coming to Louisiana, and I said, man, let me send him a text message. No, let me DM because I ain't had a number. I said, let me DM him and just tell him if he need a barber, just hit me up. I could get him right because he didn't know nobody out here, and I know he didn't know nobody out here coming away from Florida. So yeah. Then man, I woke up one morning. He didn't even say good morning. He didn't say how you doing. He said this Ben Simmons. So when he said that, and I was like, man, Ben text me, and this just on his Instagram, I just DM him, and he ended up hitting me up, and then he ended up roommating with somebody that but already trying to come to me anyway. So I was like, man, that's crazy. It was another LSU player trying to come to me, and they ended up being roommates, and they all were freshmen. So like,
oh wow.
So I just went over there, I lined him up, and I cut Ben, and that's how I really started with LSU stuff.
Man, that's crazy. So Delmar, it seemed like the longer the episode go, you get darker and darker.
I think your light going out, Delmar.
Nah, it's the sun, man. It's the sun. The sun keep rising and falling.
I thought I was tripping, man, because I was like, he is facing the black screen behind you.
I know one second I'm light skinned, the next second I like Wesley Snipes, so I don't know.
Man, yeah, but you was really like the purple was just you was just sinking into it, man. I was like, what's happening over there? Okay, let me just get back right and just dwell in the light. All right, so that's very, very cool that you did that, man. A lot of people would be scared to do it or wouldn't even have enough courage to, DM somebody that they felt they could help. And it seemed like you didn't overly bug him or something like that. You didn't blow him up. You say, hey man, I can cut you, man. Are you here yet? I can get you, man. Like you just hit him up one time and he just happened to respond.
Yeah, because I knew he not from here. And I knew that. I said he from another country. And he come into Louisiana and he don't know nobody. So I was like, let me
another country?
Yeah, he from Australia.
They from Australia.
Oh snap! I didn't even know that. Yeah, but that makes
when I first cut his hair.
All right, go ahead.
When I first cut his hair, I know he didn't know nobody because he came outside and talked to me for like 2 hours. So he didn't have no friends. So and that's how I started. He was like the biggest person I ever cut, but he was real cool.
Yeah,
probably the coolest person I ever cut. Like he gave me a lot of free stuff. He gave me like expensive stuff too, like over $3,000 worth of stuff.
Oh wow!
He gave them a he was about to give you.
He was trying to give me his collection of bearded dragons because at the time I was into bearded dragons.
What's that?
A bearded dragon is kind of like a iguana. Yeah. He had a tank full of them, and I was like, I ain't ready for a tank.
He was about to give me some shoes, him and LeBron wore, and last minute he was like, never mind. So he said, then he gave me 10 jerseys and stuff but I want them shoes though.
Yeah. He actually came to the shop.
What you about to say, D?
No, I said he actually came to the shop.
Yep.
Signed the wall. We had an MVP. I think Travis still has it, but there's a spot on a wall the MVP where all the signatures are from people that we had come through the shop.
So you Delmar, you still cut a couple famous people, right? Like some football player, or at least one of their football player brother, something like that.
So I cut Jarvis's brother, and I did have the chance to cut Jarvis last summer, and also have a MLB player. Well, he's in AAA. He's been trying to get in MLB for the last couple of years, but he came straight out of high school, so he passed up the opportunity to go to LSU. I think he was throwing 93, 94 miles an hour in high school.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, he came through the shop, and he's been trying to make it to the league. But yeah, man, just I don't know. I agree with Trey, man. What you said, Brad, like you don't have to overburden them. Like if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know TJ, we had TJ on the show last season, and TJ cuts a lot of LSU players, football, basketball, baseball. He's in the perfect location, but you know, it can happen for you. You just have to be, first of all, you have to be skilled. And then two, just treat them like people. Like sometimes people get starstruck and you know they get all caught up, and then you keep bombarding them, and then you're gonna be the one that they're not gonna reply to. Versus Traven messaged Ben one time, and then like you said, I think it was Antonio Blakeney, Trey, that was trying to get in contact with you. So they was roommating, and then Ben hit him back up. So, but Trey is the one though. Trey is the one that cut all the celebrities.
Now, for the people that is going to watch this episode and get courage to do what you did you send like a photo of your work? What did you do?
No, I think
you only said, I'm a barber, I can cut your hair.
I think if you got your social media kind of right, I think that's kind of like your business card that you go. That's why the barbers in the shop, make sure your social media right. Make sure like you got professional pictures on. You don't leave it hair on the neck when you take the picture. Being professional. So I think by him going look at my page, he was like, all right, I could deal with that.
Okay.
But on the barber side though, you always gotta be dealing with famous people. You always gotta be ready because first impression is everything.
Yeah.
Like, you always you gotta do. You can't just treat a professional like that, like a regular person. You can't just treat them because like you actually gotta do like your homework before you cut that person. You gotta go study how they get a haircut on TV, how they like how they wear their hair. Like a regular person that come in the shop, you might not know nothing about them because they're not famous. But a famous person, you could Google them. Yeah. So to be ready, like I would say, Google that person and like see how they already getting it, and just be ready because that first impression with them is everything.
Whose haircut would y'all be nervous to cut if they hit y'all up? They're like, hey, I've been seeing y'all. I'm coming into town. I want y'all to. Who would you be like?
I wasn't nervous. See, I wasn't as nervous to cut people that's younger than me. Like Ben Simmons younger than me. That's my pick. That's people that's like they're not older than me. Now somebody like that's been famous since I was young. Like LeBron would have hit me up. LeBron James, like they've been famous. Now I would be nervous because that's somebody I was looking up to at a certain age. To Ben Simmons, like you just younger than me, you coming in the league, I'm not as nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm not as nervous. And the only reason I'm nervous with them is because the haircut is on TV. So it's like the pressure is like if you mess up, everybody's gonna see that you messed up. Like, cause even when I cut his hair good, people are texting me, "Oh man, you did good." I like how they look. But if you mess up though,
man, don't be the barber that gets zoomed in on TNT. Like, who did this?
Ben Simmons was always on TV. Always on TV.
Yeah, for me, my answer would be LeBron or Drake, because like Traven said, they always in the spotlight, always on TV, always at events. So somebody gonna look at their haircut and be like, "Nah, that ain't it, buddy." Or they gonna be like, "Man, that's a real nice haircut."
Remember, we were trying to explain it to one of our barbers that cutting somebody famous is not the same pressure of cutting a regular person. He didn't agree with us. He said he said it's just like a regular person, but I'm like, you under a different spotlight though. It's like the playoffs when you're doing that. They could tell somebody that you mess them up and the whole rug on them. Compared to somebody Gazanis, I could cut his hair, mess up, and just move on to the next head. And only his family members might know, his friends might know.
Yeah.
But the whole world ain't gonna know. So it's a different pressure that you under.
Yeah, because the whole time you thinking, man, I can't mess up.
Yeah.
It ain't let me do my best. It's I can't mess up. That's a different type of mind frame. Cause if you sitting there like, oh yeah, I'm about to get them right, you might mess up. But if you sitting there like, man, I can't mess up, the pressure is different because you're gonna try your best not to mess up. You're gonna make sure they ain't sweating, you're gonna make sure they line crispy, you're gonna make sure your liners ain't biting. Like everything that day, you're gonna make sure it's A1.
Yeah, it's almost like going to take a test. Almost like
Yeah,
you can't mess up.
Oh, that's interesting. I never had the privilege of being in that spotlight, so I just do my best.
You do. You
What?
cuss somebody on the regular that we all know.
Oh, yeah, but we cool.
But see, the thing is though, Brad, the most nervous I ever been cutting probably was MP over the athletes.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I agree.
I agree.
And it's because I look up to him too, though. Like,
yeah,
I don't really look up to them, but they're famous though.
Yeah.
I look up to him. So it's like, and when he said that when he got the chair, I started sweating a little bit.
So for all of y'all that don't know, we all have a mutual business mentor, right? Different classes that we've taken. We actually got a chance to be together on his platform called You Are a CEO. His name is Michael E. Parker. So he said MP, so that's what it stands for, Michael E. Parker. And when I first started cutting his hair, I promise you, I did not want to do that because he's in a public light. Yep. He teaches all over the world, even internationally. He's
a barber.
Yeah, he thinks he's a barber. I'm not giving him that credit. He thinks he's a barber. He has the barber's eye without the barber's hand. So I was real nervous though, like cutting him because, like you said, one, you respect him, and then two, you also realize that he's getting looked at, you know, from every facet, whether it be replays, whether it be live, like it's just on another level. So yeah, that was a difficult cut when I first got started. But one thing that I had the pleasure of knowing was that he cut his own hair before I got to him. So I knew I had a hand up.
Leg up. Another thing too, he get his hair cut, and the people that's looking at his people that you look up to too, though.
I know.
So the other people that's even around him,
you
know, they might be like, "Who cut your hair?"
Yeah. That's very true. But man, that's actually really deep what you guys are saying. Not just about the celebrities, but just about the growth of mindset, right? So we talked about being comfortable. How that's like probably like step one for any barber that's getting into this industry is like start to get comfortable, understand how to hold the clippers, stop getting nervous, and then having a bit of courage, right? To where you were talking about not having fear when you're going to approach things. Like if you're trying to learn how to do fading, or you're trying to learn a new step, like don't have fear when you're getting into it. And then Delmar brought out a good point about not being afraid to understand you need to get experience, right? Get your reps in, make sure that you spend the time to understand what it is that you're supposed to do so that you can actually grow. I was watching this YouTube actually today of 6 traits of the 1% by Myron Golden. And he was talking about different things that the 1% do that causes them to be separate from the 99%. And one of the things that he mentioned was they focus on a method to mastery in everything that they do. They always have a method to getting to becoming a master. And that's kind of ties into what you were talking about, Delmar, just in regards to don't be afraid of getting the experience. You know, so many of us, when we're in this industry behind the chair, you don't want to mess up so bad that you never move forward. You never grow, because you're afraid of the mess up. But really, if you learn to mess up, then you learn what not to do just as much as you learn what to do. So getting that experience. And then last but not least is not being afraid to put yourself out there, right? Like we talked about you guys being able to cut celebrities and different things of that nature, but that goes even down to just the regular person, not being afraid to say that you're a barber, not being afraid to introduce yourself as a professional that can actually serve a need, not being afraid to have a business card, not being afraid to send out a cold DM to somebody that you want to cut. It doesn't matter, like, but being assertive enough within and confident enough within what you already have experienced, what you got comfortable in, and what you already are doing to put yourself out there and get your clientele. So this is where I wanted to dive into you guys' mindsets more as well, is you go about establishing clientele. Now that you done got comfortable, you're doing all that stuff. Now, how do you actually get the clientele? Is it just be good and that's it? Or what do you guys develop? How do you guys talk to younger barbers saying this is how you get to hold on to clientele and get new clientele too?
I think I tell people be a people's person, like speak to people, treat people right, like all that stuff in the beginning, because like first impression is good. And I like what you said about the mess ups. I usually tell barbers you gotta have thick skin, because when you mess up, you gotta be able to take. They might say, I don't like what you do, I don't like how it look, but you gotta have thick enough skin to be like, I'm gonna just do better next time. I'm gonna go work on the part they told me I mess up on. I'm gonna go home and work on it. Or with me, by doing so much content, I just go home and look up the parts I don't like on the haircut. Like even doing videos, like if you do videos of person haircut, you're gonna see your flaws and stuff like that. So there's a lot that you could do to learn how to build clientele. But I think the first thing though is treat people the right way though, because a lot of barbers cut good, but they're not treating people the right way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And building on what you said, Trey, I would say, just building a connection with people too, like the people that you have in your chair. I learned that more so from being in the suite, just being able to connect with my clients more. They've been going to bat for me in regards to telling more people about me, just because of they trust me. One, they trust me with their hair, and then two, they know that I'm a professional and I hold myself to the highest regard, and I hold my establishment to the highest regard as well. So that's two things that clients can appreciate. And highest regard may look different for each individual, just depending on, what type of, barbershop you're trying to run. But for me, I think Brad focuses on the five senses. So I try to make sure I tap into all of those, which is the sight, what you see, even the smell of the shop, making sure it smells nice. I ain't saying you got to go get Bath and Body Works candles, but I'm just saying, make sure it smells pleasant in there. Make sure you smell pleasant. Make sure you smell pleasant. I'm talking about breath, your fingers. If you're not using gloves, make sure your hands are clean. I'll say that.
Man, that is a nugget, bro.
Make sure you are clean.
Smell their fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, think about it. You lining up people's mustache.
You all on their mustache.
Yeah, you on their mustache. Your fingers smell like old red beans from 2 days ago. Like, make sure you clean, people.
Yeah.
You gotta treat clients right, man, because they're the ones that pay all your bills, especially in the beginning and stuff like that. And like I tell my barbers, like, you gotta take opportunity serious though.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize sometimes how the opportunity to cut a new client. If you keep new people coming in, you really gonna always have somebody in your chair. Yeah. So like the opportunity is important, like how you present yourself and everything. Because I feel like some barbers in this era, they're too needy. Like, I need this, I need ring lights, I need that, I need this to cut. Like back then when I cut, I just needed the station. I just
know what a ring light was
to get in the shop. But some barbers, they need 8 clippers, they need ring lights, they need all kind of stuff. Like you just gotta cut out. So some barbers make it complicated.
Yeah. I'll say this
when you get good, but when you start off, the opportunity to get a new client is like it's everything.
Yeah. And I'll say this too, man. A lot of times as barbers, we can feel entitled. Like, because I have a barbershop, because I have a license, because I have a pair of clippers, you supposed to come to me, and that's not the case.
Even because you have skill.
Right. Yep.
And you know what make that harder, Delmo? Because now it make it harder for barbers. A lot of them got skills now.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when I started cutting, I grew with the barber industry. Like haircuts wasn't as good. So like when the barber era was getting better, I was getting better too. But now the barber era is like kind of people like good now. Like I be seeing some stuff. I don't know how they do that. Like so like if you trying to rely on just skills now, it ain't gonna work no more because
you can't rely on just old skill. Like you said, you have to grow. You have to grow your skills, and you have to grow as a person too. Because your clientele will grow with you. I know Brad with the Level Up program, there's some parts he talks about your development. You have to develop. You have to develop if you want your clientele to grow, because you may get in charging 20, 25, but do you want to stay at that level forever? No, eventually you want to earn more, right?
Absolutely.
So the only way that you can earn more, you can say, okay, I charge $40 because my skill set is there and I got the experience. But do your clients see value in you? That's a big thing. Your clients got to be able to see value in you in order to feel like you worth paying this much money to. You know, I see you growing. I see you putting in the necessary time. I see you going to events and trying to grow and do different things like that. It's not like you said, Travis. Not just about a haircut no more. You can go around the corner and get a haircut from just about anybody now. But what is it that your client connect with you about?
Yeah. And on top of that, I think Ivan Zoot said this in one of his classes that he taught. He was talking about how a good haircut is not hard to find. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times people feel like, oh, because I can cut hair, like I'm good and I got a lot of demand, I can go up. And you can, but you might be the best person at that price point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you might not be the best person, but you might be booked up because you're the cheapest person for what they value at that point. So when you go up on your prices, you lose all your people. You know, or you lose more than you would like to. I'll put it like that. You know, because you're gonna lose people with any price increase. That's just a fact. But you may lose people because they don't value what it is that you do. Not just the haircut, just how you give it, your punctuality. So if you have not done this already, we're going to need you to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so that you can get the latest gems from everything going on here at Elevated Barbers Podcast. When you are trying to grow your clientele or you go up on your prices, you can't just feel like it's going to be, oh, I go up on my prices and this is it. And you're not going to lose no clientele. You're definitely going to lose clientele. And on top of you losing clientele, why you lose them is even more important, because there's so many different reasons why you can lose clientele when you do a price increase. It could be they can't afford you. That's facts. But most of the time is they don't value what you're doing for what you're charging anymore, because you haven't made any changes. You don't show any form of growth personally or even professionally that would qualify you to increase your rates. You're just saying, oh, what is it called? The rate of inflation is high, so I'm going up. Or, well, gas prices went high. Y'all don't complain to Shell. Y'all don't complain to Chevron. Well, you're not Chevron, and you're not an essential part of their day-to-day life. Right. You're an essential part of moments of their life. They do come to you before they go to a wedding. Yeah, they do come to you before they go to a job interview, or if they're going to on a date. But that's not all the time. You know what I mean? And so if you want to be an all the time type of barber, then you need to have all the time type of value. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think that, oh, just because I cut hair good, and then on top of that, I have a high demand, that means I can go up on my prices. You can do it, but you have to be comfortable with losing a lot of clientele when you do it at the wrong time and you do it with the wrong motive.
Yeah. I like what you said, but going up, because a lot of barbers in this era did go up just to say, oh, I'm gonna go up because everybody else going up. But me, Delmo used to go up and we actually offer something else. Like we might have got better with the skill set, or we might have got some new equipment, or we might have started servicing you different. And then you could see why we went up. Some people just like, man, I'm just going up. And I'm like, what you going up? They don't have a reason for why they're going up though.
Yeah. They just want more money.
Yeah. Yeah, they going up, but they quality not going up. They value
Yeah.
not going up. It's not increasing.
And then you could lose clients like that for
Yeah.
going up and you're not giving them nothing. Because somebody might ask you, what's the difference from last week? What's the difference of the service? And you just don't have nothing to say. So like when you go up, you really gotta provide more services and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now what is your thoughts on this topic? Because there's a strong argument of, well, such and such they don't give you no announcements. They don't do nothing different. Like the iPhones, they keep giving you the same phone. And McDonald's they don't change their burgers, but they keep going up on their prices. So what do you say to that?
I would say iPhone and Walmart and them, they're not competing because they run everything. So like they're the companies that you can't go nowhere but Walmart around and soft to get certain groceries and stuff. So they're not in competition with anybody else. But like with barbering, you have to offer new stuff because the guy in the shop he might start doing some new stuff. And then if everybody see the other person new in the shop doing some new stuff and you not, they're gonna go to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody, cause the clients might feel like, oh, he not trying to get better in his career, he not stuttering, he not, he not trying to elevate. So like when clients see you elevate, they actually gonna appreciate you more because you're trying to actually get them even more fresher. And like so that you studied but your craft too though. But the thing about other companies, them companies so big, it's like it ain't gonna hurt them. But like when you a barber and you just behind the chair, you gotta kind of at least stay up to where your peer is at. Like everybody, like even on Instagram, it used to be taking pictures of haircuts. Now we posting videos. If you still stuck on pictures, you behind. Then it used to be videos. Now people doing talking videos. And I was good at that. I had to start doing talking videos so people could kind of feel me and see the face of my business. But if you don't move on, it's like you're gonna get stuck. Like, other businesses they don't really, they do move on too. Walmart do better too than it used to. Like all the other companies, they get better too. But it's like they're so big though, it don't really affect them as much.
Yeah. Walmart gonna do what they do. Like you gonna, like you said, Trey, you gonna go shopping at Walmart regardless. They can go up $3 tomorrow, and you still gonna go to Walmart and get that thing that you need. You still gonna go to McDonald's and get that burger that you want because you like it that much. But like Trey was saying with barbering is like what is it about you that makes me want to go to you versus going to somebody around the corner? What is it that makes you stand out? Because like you said, you can go anywhere and get a good to decent haircut, but some people have a lot of clientele because they're professional. Some people have a lot of clientele because they're punctual with their time. They can get you in and out the chair 15, 20 minutes. So you just have to find your niche and work in that, but do it to the best of your ability too and continue to grow. How do you see it, Brad? No, because you asked all the questions, but we want to hear from you too, though.
Okay, so what's the question?
The question is the same question that you asked us.
I remember. How do you grow? Well, you say like the other companies, like they don't do nothing different.
Yeah,
they'll go up on their prices, like with inflation and stuff like that. But you was asking how we do that.
Yeah, so this is actually a really, really interesting topic for me because I see both sides, right? I see the side that, well, all these other industries don't do nothing different. They just go up. And then, but it always makes me like realize 9 times out of 10, they do that when they're selling a product, right? If it's like you buying a shampoo or you buying a watch of some sort, McDonald's they're not selling service, they're selling a product, right? So people are going there for the product. But when you put yourself in the mindset of being a product and not realizing that you run a business, and a business is supposed to learn how to attract people, learn how to communicate the right way, learn how to actually create a bond so that people really want to keep coming to you, learn how to create habits in a person's behavior so that your business stays strong, and then learn how to optimize that whole thing. If you don't realize that that's what you're supposed to do, then you'll see yourself as a product and be comparing yourself to a McDonald's burger when that's not what you are. You're a service-based industry. And in any time that you're in a service-based industry, you're always paying attention to how someone else feels more than how they like what they receive, so to speak. Because certain barbers only care about how good the haircut is. And that's all they care about. So it can be in a bad environment. It could be dirty. It could be they could be late. They don't care about all that other stuff. But the client do, but they don't say nothing at first. But then you start making changes in regards to how much money you want. And then they're going to bring all this other stuff up that they have in their mind about what you provide. This is like, oh, you're not worth all of that. I don't care how good your haircuts are. So it's a difference in perspective for me, when I think about pricing and I think about what does my client feel is valuable, right? Because if I can increase my value to them, meaning my level of importance in their mind, if I can make myself more important in their mind, then if I raise their expectation of me, then I can definitely raise my compensation. But if I just focus on, man, I need more money and I'm just going to go up because I want to go up, and I don't increase my level of importance to them, then I'm asking to have emptiness on my schedule. I'm asking to be, make less money with the more money that I'm charging. It's not a win-win. So that's my perspective on it.
And barbering is a career, like, you know how some careers, they say you got to go to school like every 6 months to catch up on, like you got to catch up on the information, like you got to go every year to catch up on the information. Barbers as a career, you got to catch up on the information like weekly and monthly. Like you always got to be like learning what's new. Like you might get off and got to go look on YouTube and figure out what people are doing. Like we always got to stay up to date to what's going on, because if you don't, you get left behind.
Absolutely. If you're not growing, you dying.
Yeah. So Brad, would you say for a new barber that's listening or a young barber that's listening, would you say until you meet the needs or the requirements or the standards, I'm trying to find the right wording for it, but the standard that your clients are looking for, that's when you should go up? But until then, you should continue to work on your skills, punctuality, client retention, your professionalism, those different things that it takes to build a clientele before going up?
Yeah, I would. I think like now that I'm like doing a lot of business stuff, like just thinking more business minded, I try to use data to understand, how to go up versus going off of a gut feeling or a hunch.
Yeah.
Because, even you say, oh man, they appreciate my professionalism. Well, how can you quantify that? They like, oh yeah, people love my punctuality. Well, how do you quantify that? So if you don't know how to quantify or put a number to the value that you're trying to provide, then it's harder to know what you should go up and then how or when you should go up. Some of the things that I actually pay attention to when it comes to doing price increases is, one, how booked out are you? Right? So how booked in advance are you? That's one way for you to kind of just gauge, like, okay, this is a positive. If you're booked 1 week out fully, 2 weeks out even fully, you're in a good position. But I still wouldn't go up on my prices at that point. The second thing that I pay attention to is how booked up was I? So you got booked out, that's in advance, and then you got booked up, which is in the past. And you look at your past and see how many times are you close to 90% booked, right? Like how many weeks in a row is that? Because if you can start to see a pattern of you being, 90%, maybe 95%, over 80%, then you can say, okay, I have a pretty good consistency of the money that I'm making right now. So it's safe to, go up a little bit. But those are just two aspects. The next thing that I pay attention to is actually let me get this little form. It's not a form, but it's like a write-up that I did on price increases so that I don't be blowing it. So give me 1 second. So if you have not done this already, we're going to need you to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on so that you can get the latest gems from everything going on here at Elevated Barbers Podcast.
It's a good episode though, man. We talking about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. a lot of things that help, somebody to grow. A lot of things to consider too, because this is stuff that you're not going to learn in any barbering school, any barbering program. Like we're talking about business,
Yeah.
and that business is a skill. Learning business is a skill that we have to incorporate with being a barber. It can't just be about fading.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna fade yourself to wealth.
Yeah, and a lot of people got a lot of different directions. I wouldn't say nothing wrong on which one is right, but I know for me, what helped my prices too, being secure with my finances. Like if I had my stuff in order, like if I know I got my stuff in order at home, and I know when I started off as a barber, I lived way below my means, like way below. So what I was making, I was living like a broke person. Yeah. So like I knew I could go up because I just know my finances are secure. Like I know how much money I got, so I can take a chance with myself. Because I didn't never live to what I made. So if you could kind of secure yourself on what you make and your finance on the side too, that kind of can make you go up on your prices too.
Yeah, because you know your stability.
Yeah, you have some wiggle room.
Yeah. Yep. So these are the 5 things that I pay attention to. Wait, no, 6. So for the first thing, when it comes to price increases, I pay attention to, like I said, the booked up rate, right? So how booked up is in the past tense. So how booked up have I been? Is it like 80 to 100%? If it's in that range, that's a good target. The next thing is booked out, right? So if you are booked out 80 to 100%, then you're in a good position as well. And I say about 7 days to 14 days out, you're looking at your schedule and you can say, oh man, okay, I'm pretty booked out. And then another thing is your client retention rate. So being able to calculate how many clients that are staying with you over the course of, I would say 3 months, right? Over the course of 3 months, how many people are staying with you? Being able to actually have the number that that says what that value is, what percentage is that? And then your new customers, right? How many new customers are you actually getting from a 3 month range? And then lastly is how many and then your customer conversion rate. This is a secret weapon that a lot of barbers don't know about. So you'll look at people that come and visit you, like new people, and then you'll look at how many people you cut, but you don't quantify how many new people chose to keep coming with you, right? How many customers turned into clients? Because if you don't know that there's 2 different things, then you'll be thinking you higher than what you really are. So customers are people that have visited you less than 3 times and have come probably within less than 2 months, right? So if you haven't seen somebody at least 3 times, then they're not a client. And if you only seen them once or twice within 3 months or something like that, they're probably not a client. They're just a customer. They come to you every now and then. So the customer conversion rate, meaning they're converting into a client, what is that number? Like what number of how many of the people that first come see you 3 times and do it within 2 months, a month even. You're looking at that conversion rate. And then last but not least is how many clients do you actually lose? So if you can calculate, I'm getting about 10 new people a month and I'm only losing 2 people a month at this current rate, then I can probably go up on my prices. If I'm realizing that out of the 10 new people that I get, I'm keeping 6 of them every 3 months, this is a good thing, because now I see that over the course of 6 months, I'm gaining 4 to 5 new clients literally every month or something like that. And the numbers can definitely be higher if you have a really good lead generation situation. And then you look at your booked out rate, then you're looking at how much you've been booked up, and you look at all of those small little numbers, and you can see, like I'm in you can go up more on your prices more than just $5 when you start to look at these numbers, because $5 ain't going to change your life at all. So if you do like 10, 15, you can get into some real good strategies after that. But that's my little spiel on that.
I like how detailed how you that's pretty detailed.
Is that part of the Level Up program?
Absolutely. That's some of the stuff that I teach. Because if you don't, if a barber doesn't learn how to look at their business as a business,
Mm-hmm.
then, and what I mean by looking at it as a business, meaning it's an operation on how you make money, right? This is an operation. So if you don't understand the operation of how you make money, then you're just hustling. You're just going to cut, you know, and you just going to cut and you just making money and then you spending money, but you don't see the flow of it. You don't understand if you really winning or losing. And if you don't understand that, then you don't know how to win. You won't know where you're losing and why. You just feel like you feeling. But business ain't got no feelings. Business is about numbers, right? Business is about you increasing. It's about you growing. So you have to start thinking like that so that you can level up. And that's why we got this podcast. That's why we do what we do, right? Is because we're trying to help elevate barbers that are elevating barbers. And here you are, and you and Gonzalez still, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you are empowering the minds of the barbers that you are around. And then I even see that you're doing stuff on Instagram now where, you know, yeah, you're doing some things, man. I be liking it. Like, okay, I might comment from time to time because it might be really inspiring. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we elevate barbers like yourself that are really giving back to other barbers and helping them be greater than what they are. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to do here. And that's what we do inside the Level Up program as well.
Yeah, I got one gauge too that I go by where you could go up to. One gauge one number I look at how many clients you can't get to. Because like I might be booked up the whole week, but I might have 15 people hit me up and I couldn't get to them. So like, the clients that you can't get to, it show you how busy you really are. Because sometimes I might be on a Friday, I cut 20 people. Like not no more. I don't cut that many people no more. But back then, I might have cut 25, but I could have cut 35. I just couldn't get to the other 10.
Yeah.
Like, you know, go on to next week. I might could get them Tuesday or Wednesday. But I know a lot of busy barbers. They always got people calling them through the day that they can't get to. People walking in on them. So like, I feel like if you got that many clients that you can't get to, like at the end of the week, you might have 10 or 15. I think that's a good number to say you need to go up on your prices.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's real good.
So with that, Traven, you say there's 15 people that you can't get to. Is it still a priority to try to keep the ones that you already cutting when you go up? Because sometimes you can go up and make room for that 15, then you might have 5 drop off. So how important is it to still try to keep the ones that may be offended by you going up on your increase?
Yeah, I feel like you could try to keep the ones that you have much as possible, but you're gonna lose some clients when you change your business. You're just gonna lose some people. Like, you know, me and you, Delmar, we done seen that. When we used to take walk-ins and we started doing appointments, some people didn't want to do the appointments. They just wanted to stay in the walk-in era. But we grew from them. So like it's like we outgrew them. And then I got some clients. I got cousins. I don't want to book. I want to just walk in. But I'm doing my business this way now. So I feel like you can't hold your business back for a certain amount of people if you see your business growing. So, and you know, me and you going up on some prices, we done lost a lot of people, but we made more cutting less heads than cutting a lot of heads. So
yeah, and we also gained those who were valuing us at that price point when we went up too.
Yeah.
And another thing too, new people always value you where you at. It be the old people that won't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why they want, and you know why they want to complain? Because they want to stay what they used to. They don't want to stay what's going forward. Now the new people don't know where they came from because they just came to you on day one.
Yeah.
You don't complain as much, but the people that been coming, you be like, man, you done went up $10. With it, and they won't keep you there.
But that goes back to what Bradford was saying too. Like you have to show them value more than just that you fade good and you feel like this is what my haircuts are worth.
Yeah. It was so cool when I started to realize that I needed to share my growth with my clientele, like talk about it. I needed to speak about it, tell them I was doing things, because then they have expectation of you. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, you going to a barber expo? Like what goes on over there? Like, oh yeah, you know, I was going and taking classes. Actually, this was some of the stuff that I learned. Boom, boom, boom. and they be like, "Oh, really? Yeah." Or you come back with some clippers or something like that. And you be like, "Man, these clippers. Hey, tell me how you like these."
Mm-hmm.
And you doing these different things. It shows that you're trying to grow. And you may not realize it if you don't speak about your growth. Then in your clients' heads, you're not growing.
Yeah,
You're not doing it. So when you say I'm going up, it's like, for what? like, but if you are always talking about how you're advancing, and if you are talking to them about their advancement in their life, then when you grow, some of them will actually root for you. A lot of them will actually go up with you because they are with you on the journey. Almost you brought them a part of your journey. So that's another key thing. It's not a metric that you can measure, but it is something that you can plant the seeds, because you're helping to develop royalty, not loyalty. Loyalty is about the past, but loyalty is about the growth of the future. I said this in another episode. Like, we don't crown a king for yesterday.
Yeah.
King for tomorrow, right? You crown a king for the future. So if you want to grow, then you have to think about your future, and your clients have to be thinking about future too. You don't want them to be thinking about your past days and be like, "Man, I remember when you was at the garage." Man, I got my own shop now. Like,
right.
Garage price.
And then when you do new things too, your clients brag on you. Cause I remember Richard Payne was the first one using a booking app, and like they had clients say, "Man, they got this dude in Baton Rouge, man. You got to book him on the app." So like when you do new things, they go brag because it's like something they never seen before. Like even like y'all got the podcast, they're like, "Man, Delmar, they got a podcast."
Yeah.
People just go brag about stuff if you keep doing new stuff, but if you don't do nothing new, it's like you just the same Bob I seen last week.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing going.
Yeah, you ain't doing nothing different.
But a lot of people talk about the podcast, even in the shop. I'm like, they got a podcast that's big, But when you do stuff new, it's like people go brag about it because they want other people to know, man, my barber is exclusive.
Yeah.
My barber's doing this and that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true, man. Because I've gotten into reading books lately, and I've been telling my clients that I'm reading books, and they like, reading books? Man, we ain't never seen you read no book. We ain't heard you talk about no book outside of the Bible, but you ain't never talk about no books. So like they see me reading books now. Like, so the other day I had a longer lunch break, so I was reading my book, and I was reading it because of me. But I also knew that in the back of my mind, if my client walk in and see me reading my book, he's gonna be like, "Man, you reading a book? Oh man, you really trying to grow? You really doing what you say you doing?"
Yeah.
So I'm reading my book, and then like even my clients now, they know that I'm reading books, so they be like, "Oh, shoot me the book that you're reading, because I'm interested in trying to grow myself too." So it's like just little things like that, man. Like you said, Brad, like just talking about, not always talking about your success and what you're trying to do, but like talk about that you're trying to grow, because they have to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And you may inspire them to grow. It might be It's been times I've had conversations with my clients who are like, "You know what? I was never thinking like that, but because you mentioned it, I need to start, investing in my personal development too." And they appreciate that.
Yeah. They really do. They really do. We talk about that a lot, of just about the impact of a barber, right? Being behind the chair in that role. And you have such an impact, but if you ain't doing nothing, man, it's like you wasting, like you was talking about earlier, the opportunity. You're wasting the opportunity to be a positive influence in somebody's life that's deeper than just, "Oh, this dude is funny," or "Oh, they know about sports." It's like, no, they got real substance to them. Like I could go to them and ask them some deep questions, and they can get deep with me about growth and about future, but not, some people get deep and they get into their sorrows, and I ain't talking about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, woe is me, and life sucks. It's like,
I want you to leave the shop uplifted.
Yeah.
Come to me.
Elevated, man.
The impact is big.
Yeah. Me and Trevi always talk about that, man. Like, I know this might be a little off subject, but man, if you're going through stuff in your personal life, don't bring that to the shop.
Yeah.
Like the people that you cutting already going through life, like we all experience in life.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming to, what'd you say, Trey?
Leave it at the door.
Yeah, leave it at the door. Because if I'm coming to you and I'm going to spend 30, 45, an hour in your chair, I don't want to hear about everything that you got going on. I got enough going on in my own life. I'm trying to get some words of encouragement or something. Like I want to leave here smiling. I want to leave here, I got a box of Kleenex in my hand. You telling me everything that you're going through.
And you know what make people motivated too? I know it be myself. People know I hate talking on videos. Mm-hmm. So all people know that. So if you know that and then you see me doing it, you be like, man, he doing something he don't even like to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like it'd be like it had people DM me, man, you done motivate me to start talking on videos. I ain't want to talk on videos because they knew me personally. They knew I didn't know this is something I wouldn't do. So when they see that growth and it's they appreciate it because they know I would never do nothing like this, but I'm trying to grow.
Yeah.
I'm stepping out my comfort zone.
Yeah. So yeah, even as you get like more into the game, like you can't be afraid of growing. Yeah. You got to put yourself in the environment so that you can continue to grow. Because like we were saying, if you ain't growing, you dying. If you're not moving forward, you're getting left behind. That's just a fact in life, no matter what you're doing. So you got to make sure that you are trying to grow in some shape, some form. Yeah, man, that's deep.
And if you're too comfortable, you're not growing either.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're too comfortable.
Yeah. That's a good sign to know that you ain't growing. Is if you feel like everything is just really, really good right now. Like it's a difference between being complacent and content.
Yep.
Like contentment is being thankful for where you are, still trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Complacent,
you just good with being there.
Yeah, you just good. Like
oh, it's cool. Yeah, I don't want to do nothing else. Oh, I don't want to grow no more.
Yeah. That's funny, but it's real, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, man. So this is, for me, I feel like we're giving so much value. Like we would be doing the audience a disservice because we probably need to get you on another episode, Trey.
I feel like it too because there's a lot of stuff too that we could have probably went into.
Yeah.
Wrote down. So we're gonna definitely do part 2.
Yeah, we need a part 2, man, because you giving a lot of value, man, and you pulling value out of us too, man. Like some of the questions that you're asking and different things that we're talking about, it leads into other conversations because this is a big industry, man, and we want to make sure that we give high quality value to the people that are listening, so we can't keep them on for too long. Yeah. All right. So Delmar, I know you probably got some closing statements for the people, man. What you got to say, man? Because you fading in the darkness, but you came back to the light, man.
I brought myself back. I might look a little pale right now, but it's all right. We'll work on the color next time. But yeah, man, it's been a really good episode. I do want to say this though, since we started off talking about basketball, I just want you to know that right now you're the worst basketball player on the podcast right now.
Trey, man, that's crazy.
No, I'm talking to you.
You're not. You
wrong way. That way. Always get my arrows wrong. That way.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what's happening right now, but
you old Brad, man. You're not the old Brad. Now the old Brad back in the day. Now, if
you're talking about from a physical standpoint, based on my most recent injury, then yeah, you're right. I can't do nothing right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but come 2025, and
you're gonna be back, huh?
You in the gym? You in the lab?
Well, right now I'm in the recovery phase. It's possible I need to get another surgery. We don't know, but right now I messed up my knee balling on some people that we know, and I was having a pretty good night too. Did he tell you that?
Nah, I didn't hear.
Oh, he didn't even. So what are you talking about then?
I'm just saying, like right now as it stands.
In general,
right now as it stands.
Oh no! If I have my even injured knees and I'm decent, I'm dealing with both of y'all. Yeah,
we got to set it up one day.
Yeah,
we got to set it up one day.
Yeah, we got to play one day.
No, that's real, man, and we're gonna record it too, so we can see.
Oh, we record stuff all the time
with all my knee straps. I got them. I'm
icy hot.
Yeah,
bio freeze.
I don't do that. Tiger ball. No. But no, I gotta. I think I really do need to get surgery though. But I'm gonna have to do that next year. But
understandable.
Yeah, no, I was playing just the other week, probably a couple weeks ago, and some people that we know was out there that came. The one that you said was better than you, Delmar. You remember him?
Yeah,
the 17-year-old that you said was better than you.
Landon.
Yeah,
but I dealt with Landon last time he came out here.
Well, Landon said he dealt with Delmar, and Delmar said the same. He's like, "Yep, he got me."
I put Landon up, man.
Man, that's good, man. He needs to be humble. But either way, I was playing with him, and he was having a decent night. But I was having a good night. I was having a good night. I was hitting shots. I was creating some space and doing what I do. And man, I was playing defense on somebody, and they didn't like what I was doing altogether. And so they would start to play a little bit more aggressive. They started playing real aggressive on me. And so they was on offense, I'm on defense, and I kind of knew what they were going to do. And so I tried to play them for the move that they were going to do. And when I planted with my left leg to adjust to whatever they were doing, they also hit me. So when they hit me, it just threw my whole balance off. And I need all the balance in the world right now. My equilibrium is good if I'm doing what I know I need to do. But if somebody throw me off or whatever, then I don't have the ligaments to stabilize myself. So he threw me off.
Sound like you almost fell.
No, I did fall because he pushed me and my knee gave out. So
is that nephew you talking about?
Nah, it wasn't him. He not strong enough for that.
Yeah, but he don't like playing physical.
Yeah, he don't. But man, he pushed me and it hurt. I was out.
I wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah, we getting old, man.
Man, it's real, bro. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this, but I'd rather that than the alternative, because the alternative is no longer being present. So I'd rather be present right now. I don't think I qualify for things for elevation purposes. Not quite yet. Still working on a few things.
But I remember playing with you, Brad, when I was younger though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Brad was nice.
See, y'all probably don't remember you coming to California, but I used to come to California when my brother was living down there.
No, I remember you coming. I don't remember you playing a lot of basketball though.
Yeah, I used to play when I used to come out there.
Oh, for real?
I remember one time I beat Bird and Mike, and he don't remember this either though. I ain't beat him 1-1 or nothing like that, but the team beat him. I made the game winning layup. And he
for real?
Yeah, he said he didn't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that either, but that's good.
Then when I made the layup, he was like, "What was that?"
You made a funny looking layup?
Yeah, because I got an unorthodox play.
Always.
So like it's
always
tell what I'm about to do because I don't play like a normal person. So like when I made the layup, he was like, "What was
that?" Trey played like you watching the basketball highlight in reverse.
And then when we were playing in Tyler and we were playing 21 in Tyler, I had one, and then he was like, he wasn't leaving until you get a win.
Is that right?
Yeah, he wasn't leaving until you get a win.
Trey, I was trying to tell Brad, man, he's still stuck on the old me. He still think I can't hoop no more, man.
Nah, Devil be hooping, man.
Nah, I believe him. Like,
I don't Devil probably the best sit that he ever been in, like far as working out.
Yeah.
Nah, deal with Brad.
But I remember you having a fast crossover though, Brad. Like when I was young, I remember you like had like a fast crossover in like the mid game.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was. I had a good arsenal, man. I was thankful to be able to get out there and fellowship with the people, man. Yeah.
This has been another excellent episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast with Traven Harris, the People's Barber, MVP Barbers, and my co-host Brad, the Business-Minded Barber. We are out.
We are out.
The information that you're giving them is going to elevate them financially, mentally, emotionally, and going to rise, and they're going to elevate.
We are here trying to elevate barbers as they're elevating the industry.
The one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. Let's start the show.